Tonight, as you prepare to close your eyes, I speak directly to your soul. Heaven is already moving for you. The moment you surrender this day, the divine takes your hand and begins to orchestrate wonders beyond your imagining. You have been told that tomorrow's blessings depend on tomorrow's toil. But I tell you a higher truth. God does not sleep, and his supply never pauses. While you rest, Infinite Spirit is already arranging, aligning, and delivering your good. Feel it now, an invisible river of provision flowing toward you. It does not trickle, it surges with divine certainty. See the hands of heaven tipping vessels of abundance over your life. Tonight is not an ordinary night. It is a sacred exchange. You release worry, and heaven releases overflow. You relinquish human struggle, and the Almighty takes command. For too long, the world has taught you to sleep with clenched fists, holding on to fear, clutching at control. But fear blocks the river of life. The kingdom of God is not entered by grasping, it is entered by declaration and release. Your spoken word is the golden key that unlocks the storehouses of supply. Jesus said, "What things soever ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Tonight, I challenge you to do what few dare to do. Stop running, stop worrying, and start speaking with divine authority. As you drift into sleep, every word you declare will be planted like seed into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And make no mistake, the subconscious, once impressed by the word of truth, becomes an unstoppable servant of divine law. It works through the night, drawing to you the opportunities, ideas, and resources that belong to you by divine right. Picture this. You lay your head upon the pillow, and in that instant, unseen doors begin to swing open. Angels of provision move silently through the corridors of your destiny, arranging divine appointments. The gold that has been hidden is drawn into your path. The debts that have weighed you down are dissolved in invisible streams of favor. This is the game of life played at its highest level, not by weary effort, but by commanding faith. Florence Scovel Shinn called it speaking the word. Your word is your wand. The words you speak create your reality. Tonight, we wield that wand. We will speak words that heaven cannot ignore because they are aligned with spiritual law. Do not lie down as one who hopes weakly for crumbs from life's table. Lie down as a royal heir to the inexhaustible riches of God. The scriptures say, "It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." The kingdom is not delayed until morning. It is present, moving, surging toward you now. As you hear my voice, let every muscle release its tension. Breathe out every burden of the day. Feel chains of limitation fall away. You are stepping into a divine current that carries you to overflowing good. Tonight, heaven's river floods your life, and when you open your eyes at dawn, you will know that something has shifted. You will know that you spoke the word, and the word became flesh in your affairs. This is where it begins. Tonight, you stop striving and start declaring. Tonight, you cross from scarcity into divine overflow. You have carried silent burdens for so long that they have become like familiar companions, heavy on your shoulders and unyielding in their grip. There have been nights when sleep would not come, nights when you stared into the darkness, heart pounding, wondering how tomorrow's needs would be met. Bills stacked on the table seemed to mock your faith, and whispered doubts crept into your mind, telling you that perhaps heaven had forgotten your name. You have prayed, you have pleaded, you have even declared, but as each morning dawned, the weight remained, and you began to wonder if abundance was only for others and never for you. I speak to that pain now, for it is not yours by divine right. It is a shadow, a false picture impressed upon your soul by fear, by memories of disappointment, by the world's loud insistence that you are bound by limitation. Tonight, we tear down that false picture brick by brick. Tonight we expose the great lie that has held you captive, the lie that you must strive endlessly, beg endlessly, toil endlessly to be deemed worthy of heaven's blessings. My dear one, hear this truth that Florence Scovel Shinn thundered in her time. God's supply is infinite and immediate, not distant, not conditional, not reserved for another lifetime or another person. It is immediate. Every sleepless night you have endured has only been the ego's futile attempt to solve what only spirit can resolve. Every hour spent pacing, calculating, worrying over how, when, and from where your good might come has been an attempt to do with human strength what only divine law can accomplish. And yet, even in those moments of doubt and weariness, heaven was not silent. Invisible hands were preparing paths you could not yet see. Grace was quietly building bridges over chasms of fear, bridges that you will now walk across with confidence. Think of the tears you've cried in secret, the moments when you felt unseen and unheard. Know this, not one tear was wasted. The same God who clothes the lilies in splendor has counted everyone, and each has watered the soil of your upcoming blessing. You feared abandonment, yet the truth is, you have been surrounded by divine love more constant than the rising sun, more steadfast than the earth beneath your feet. And those circumstances shouted of lack, a higher voice whispered, "Beloved, all that I have is thine." Let your heart acknowledge it now. You are not forgotten, you are not disqualified, and you have never been cut off from your source of supply. The longing you feel, the deep ache for freedom and overflow, is not evidence of separation from God, but evidence that the spirit within you is yearning to remember its own power. It is divine discontent, a holy stirring that says, I was not made for chains. I was created for overflowing abundance. That discontent has led you here to this moment of awakening. And now I say to you, this is the night when it ends. The chapter of fear, of sleepless struggle, of silent desperation closes tonight. As surely as night yields to dawn, the darkness of lack yields to the light of divine plenty. For you are not a beggar at the gates of heaven. You are a beloved child of infinite spirit, and tonight you reclaim what has always been yours by right of divine inheritance. Feel the shift as I speak. No longer do you identify with worry. No longer do you wrap yourself in the heavy cloak of limitation. That cloak falls from your shoulders even now, and in its place you are robed in garments of praise, clothed in radiant assurance that your supply is here, moving toward you, surrounding you, overflowing into every avenue of your life. The struggle of your past has been nothing but a long, wandering dream, and tonight you awaken to a new reality. Divine abundance is not coming, it is. Now, beloved soul, let me reveal to you a secret hidden not in the heights of distant stars, but in the stillness of your own breath, a truth so simple and yet so mighty that it overturns lifetimes of false belief, the law of the spoken word. Florence Scovel Shinn, a vessel of divine wisdom, proclaimed boldly that, "Your word is your wand, the words you speak create your reality." These are not poetic musings, but living laws, eternal principles written in the very fabric of creation. When you speak, you plant seeds in the fertile garden of your subconscious mind, and as surely as a rose seed produces roses and never thorns, every word you speak produces after its kind in your outer world. Consider this. The subconscious mind does not sleep, it does not judge, it does not debate the truth or falsehood of what you say. It simply takes your word as law and sets in motion every unseen power necessary to fulfill it. The moment you say, I am blessed, the subconscious begins weaving events and opportunities to align with that blessing. The moment you say, I am in lack, that same creative engine brings forth conditions that mirror that lack. It is not a matter of whether this law is working. It always works. The only question is, what seeds have you been planting? This is why night, this holy space between the waking world and the silent depths of sleep, is so sacred. As you prepare to close your eyes, the conscious mind, with all its resistance and human reasoning, grows quiet, and the subconscious stands open like a vast receptive field awaiting instruction. It is in this twilight moment that you hold the power to command unseen forces. One word spoken in faith before sleep carries more weight than hours of frantic prayer spoken in fear. For in that moment you are closest to the realm of spirit, and heaven bends to hear your declaration. Jesus himself unveiled this truth when he said, "By thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned." And again, "Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith." Notice, he did not say you must beg mountains to move. He said you must speak. Speak with authority, speak with faith, and the mountain obeys, not because of human willpower, but because the word, once spoken in divine alignment, cannot return void. The Apostle Paul revealed the same divine law when he wrote, "Faith cometh by hearing." Every word you speak aloud is heard by your own ears and impressed deeper into your subconscious mind. You are both the prophet and the disciple, both the one who declares and the one who believes. Tonight, as your head touches the pillow, you are not whispering empty affirmations into the darkness. You are issuing royal decrees into the law of spirit, and that law is unfailing. Imagine now that your subconscious is a rich, dark soil awaiting the gardener's hand. If you have planted weeds of fear, weeds will grow without fail. But tonight, we pull up every weed by its root and sow seeds of divine abundance. As Florence taught, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. Therefore, we must see it, speak it, and let the word carve new channels in consciousness through which heaven's supply can flow freely. This is the science of the spoken word, a science more exact than mathematics, more reliable than the turning of the seasons. When you speak, you write scripts upon the unseen stage of life, and life, like a faithful actor, steps forth to play every scene exactly as you have written it. Tonight, we rewrite your script. Tonight, your words will no longer echo despair or uncertainty. Tonight, your words will be a clarion call to divine overflow, a trumpet blast that shakes loose the very gates of heaven and releases treasures long prepared for you. Remember this always. Lack and limitation have no power of their own. They live only in unspoken fears and careless words. But abundance, health, love, and success are eternal realities, waiting patiently for your declaration to draw them into form. Tonight, you wield the wand of the spoken word, and you will watch as your subconscious mind, guided by infinite spirit, brings forth a dawn unlike any you have known. A dawn filled with answered prayers and overflowing good. Come closer now in spirit, for we are about to step into the Holy of Holies within your own consciousness, where divine truths shine brighter than any earthly sun, and where every fear is dissolved by the light of knowing. Let us walk together into the sanctuary of Scripture and the eternal promises of God, for they are not merely words of comfort, but living, breathing laws that shape reality itself. Tonight, these promises will become flesh in your life. The psalmist, inspired by infinite wisdom, declared, "My cup runneth over." This is not the poetic wish of a hopeful soul. It is the recognition of spiritual law at work. When David spoke these words, he was not standing amid earthly riches. He was surrounded by adversities, yet his inner vision pierced through appearances to the unseen abundance of spirit. He understood that divine supply does not drip timidly. It runs over, spilling into every facet of life with unstoppable generosity. This overflow is not reserved for saints of old. It is your divine inheritance. Tonight, you awaken to the truth that you too have a cup destined to run over. And let us hear again the voice of Christ, the master metaphysician, who said, "I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly." Do you hear it? Not a life of barely enough, not a life of scraping by and waiting for scraps, but a life overflowing with every good thing. This is not human optimism, it is divine reality. And because it is divine, it is eternal, unchanging, and already present within you. The reason it has seemed distant is not that it is withheld, but that fear, doubt, and the clamor of worldly thinking have clouded the vision of your inner eye. Tonight, we clear that vision. Imagine a vast, radiant fountain at the center of your being, a fountain that has never run dry, though you may have turned your gaze away from it. This fountain is the Christ within you, the wellspring of divine substance that endlessly pours forth health, wealth, joy, and perfect self-expression. Florence Scovel Shinn spoke often of this truth, saying, "God is my unfailing supply, and large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways." These are not empty affirmations. They are keys that unlock the flow of spirit into visible form. When spoken with faith, they turn the fountain within into a river without, manifesting abundance in every corner of your life. Consider how Jesus multiplied the loaves and fishes. He did not beg the heavens for provision. He lifted his eyes, gave thanks, and acknowledged the invisible supply already present. The miracle was not the sudden creation of bread from nothing. It was the unveiling of a truth that abundance is always here, hidden only by limited perception. As you prepare to sleep tonight, you will not beg or plead for miracles. You will do as Christ did, lift your inner eyes to divine reality, give thanks for your overflowing good, and watch as what was invisible becomes visible by the law of spirit. And let us not forget the words of Isaiah, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee." Perfect peace is the soil in which divine abundance grows. Worry, fear, and doubt are the thorns that choke the harvest. Tonight, as you lie down, you release every thorn and allow perfect peace to reign in your mind. This peace is not passive, it is active faith, the unwavering knowing that infinite intelligence has already gone before you to prepare every detail of your supply. Even now, channels unseen to your human eyes are opening. Paths that were blocked are being cleared. The law of harmony is working out every condition for your highest good. So let us stand firm on this unshakable truth. You are not at the mercy of chance, fate, or human effort. You are under grace, governed by divine law, backed by the full power of heaven itself. No earthly circumstance, no past mistake, no present fear can separate you from the overflowing riches of spirit. They are your birthright, sealed by divine promise, and tonight you reclaim them fully and completely. Speak it with me in the quiet of your heart. My cup runneth over now. I live and move and breathe in divine abundance. All that is mine by divine right now flows to me freely, joyously, and in perfect ways. Rest in this truth as we move forward. You are not simply hoping for abundance, you are the living vessel through which divine overflow expresses itself. The Word of God cannot fail, and tonight, as these truths are impressed upon your subconscious, you awaken into a life where lack is a forgotten dream, and every step is guided by the inexhaustible riches of infinite spirit. Now, precious soul, we must strip away the ancient lie that has long chained humanity to fear and limitation, the lie of lack. This lie has been whispered into ears for generations, passed down like a shadow over minds and hearts, convincing men and women that they are separated from their good, that they must grovel, claw, and compete to receive the crumbs of life. But listen to me carefully. Lack is not real. It has no substance, no law, no divine backing. It is a phantom born only of human thought, a shadow cast by fear and ignorance. And tonight, under the unerring light of spiritual truth, that shadow must vanish. Imagine this. A man stands in the center of a lush garden, but his eyes are tightly shut. He believes himself lost in a barren desert, wandering in circles, desperate for water and food. All the while, every fruit-laden tree bends toward him, every stream of living water gushes beside his feet, every flower blooms in radiant supply. But until he opens his eyes, his suffering continues, not because the garden is absent, but because he cannot see it. This is the condition of those trapped in lack. Divine supply is all around, but blinded by fear and false belief, they cannot perceive it. Florence Scovel Shinn told the story of a woman who came to her with only $8 left in the world. Fear gripped this woman's heart like a vice. She thought, surely this is the end. I will soon have nothing at all. But Florence, standing firmly on spiritual law, did not see limitation. She saw abundance pressed down, shaken together, and running over. She told the woman to bless the $8, to affirm that she had a magical purse that could never be depleted. Florence spoke the word, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance." She is an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to her by divine right. That woman obeyed, and within a short time, unexpected channels opened. Money flowed to her in miraculous ways. The phantom of lack dissolved into the radiant reality of supply. This is the law. When you believe in lack, you create lack. When you see through its illusion and declare truth, abundance rushes to meet you. Lack does not originate in the divine. It cannot, for God is absolute fullness. Lack is simply a misalignment of thought, a dark veil obscuring the blazing light of ever-present good. And tonight, as these words flow into your subconscious, that veil is torn apart. Release now every image of limitation you have ever carried. Unpaid bills piled high, opportunities missed, doors slammed shut, long nights of anxiety. See them all as brittle, crumbling masks falling away. Behind those masks is a radiant truth. The storehouses of heaven have never been locked. The channels of supply have never dried up. Infinite Spirit has never withheld your good. You are, at this very moment, standing in the midst of a divine garden overflowing with provision. As Jesus declared, "Lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest." Understand this deeply. There is no competition in spirit. What belongs to you by divine right cannot be taken by another. No loss, no theft, no delay can rob you of your good, for spirit is infinitely creative, infinitely resourceful. If one channel seems closed, 1,000 more stand ready to deliver your supply. You need not grasp or fight or plead. You only need to align your thought with truth and speak it forth with unwavering conviction. Right now, silently affirm, every false picture of lack dissolves. My mind is flooded with images of divine abundance. Infinite Spirit meets all my needs, richly and freely, here and now. Feel these words sink deep into your subconscious, rewriting old scripts of struggle and fear. With every breath you take, see streams of wealth, rivers of opportunity, and waves of blessing flowing toward you. Imagine them filling every corner of your life until nothing remains but overflow. As you prepare for sleep tonight, know this: the lie of lack has lost its grip. It cannot touch you because it was never real. Only abundance is real. Only fullness is true. As these truths settle into your spirit, you will dream dreams of prosperity, and as you awaken, doors that seemed forever shut will swing wide. The universe itself will conspire to show you that divine supply was never missing. It was simply waiting for you to remember, to speak, to claim it as your own. Now let me lift the veil further and lead you into the vision of the divine storehouse, that vast and eternal treasury of spirit, where all good already exists in inexhaustible supply. I want you to see it with your inner eye, to feel it in every fiber of your being, for it is real and it is yours by divine inheritance. Imagine now a magnificent storehouse stretching beyond the horizons of your mind, its gates wrought of light and shimmering gold, opening wide at the command of spiritual truth. Inside there are treasures of every kind, radiant health glowing like living gems, financial abundance flowing in rivers of gold and silver, relationships pure as crystal and joyful as spring gardens, opportunities stacked like luminous scrolls waiting to be unrolled into your life. There is no lock on these gates, no guard to keep you out, for it has always been decreed, "Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have is thine." See yourself now standing before this storehouse. For years, perhaps decades, you have walked in circles outside its gates, believing yourself barred, believing others held the key. You may have thought divine blessings were rationed, given to some and withheld from you. You may have believed you had to prove your worth, to labor endlessly, to suffer nobly before Spirit would deem you ready. But listen carefully to what Florence Scovel Shinn unveiled to the world. The philosopher leaves the cut of his coat to the tailor. This means you do not have to map every detail. You do not have to struggle or strive or beg. You speak the word, you trust the designer of life, and infinite intelligence tailors your blessings perfectly, in ways you could not imagine. And here's the secret. The only key that opens this vast storehouse is the word spoken in faith. Not mere words muttered in hope or desperation, but words that vibrate with divine certainty, words that know their power and are unafraid to command. This is why Jesus said, "Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you." When you knock with a trembling hand of fear, you hear only the echoes of your doubt. But when you knock with the steady hand of faith, when your spoken word rings like a royal decree, the gates of heaven swing open instantly, and you are ushered into your rightful treasure. Feel it now. As you approach those gates, golden light pours over you like warm sunlight after a storm. Every heavy thought of unworthiness, every shadow of fear, every chain of limitation disintegrates in that light. You hold in your hand the golden key of declaration, and as you speak, "I open the way for my divine supply," the gates respond to your authority. They move not by human effort, but by spiritual law. With a sound like rushing waters, the storehouse opens, and you step into the fullness of your inheritance. Inside, you do not scramble or clutch or compete. You walk with ease and certainty, guided by divine wisdom. You know that what is yours cannot be missed, and what is not yours cannot be forced. You see pathways of supply already laid out, channels prepared long before you needed them. You see the radiant threads of divine order weaving together opportunities, people, and resources that will flow to you in perfect timing. There is no scarcity here, no waiting list, no measure of insufficiency. Spirit is infinite, and as Florence said, there is a supply for every demand. Even now, as these words impress themselves upon your subconscious mind, the divine storehouse is stirring. The gates are responding to your faith. Spiritual law is already moving in the unseen, drawing forth blessings that have long been stored for you. You may not yet see them with your physical eyes, but know with unwavering certainty the storehouse is open and its treasures are in motion toward your life. This night, as you drift into sleep, you will dream of walking those luminous halls, touching treasures prepared with your name upon them. And as you awaken, signs of this truth will manifest. Unexpected doors will open, debts will dissolve, favor will find you in places where you once met resistance. You will not have to strain or strive, for you have learned to hold the golden key of declaration. Spirit has already answered your word, and nothing can stop the flow of abundance now set in motion. Speak it with me in your heart. I hold the golden key of faith. I open the divine storehouse now. All that is mine by divine right flows to me freely and joyously, under grace, in perfect ways. As these words sink deeper into your consciousness, feel the thrill of certainty rise within you. The gates of the storehouse have swung wide, and you are walking into a season of divine overflow that no power on earth can delay or deny. Let us now turn our gaze to the holy silence of the night, that sacred span of hours when the noise of the world fades away and only the eternal whispers of spirit remain. Nighttime has long been seen as a mystery, but within the teachings of divine law, it is revealed as a canvas for miracles. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this secret well. It is before sleep, when the conscious mind is soft and pliant and the gates of the subconscious stand wide open, that the seeds of our spoken word take their deepest root. The daytime hours are filled with resistance and chatter, thoughts colliding and fears echoing loudly. But in the stillness of night, resistance melts like mist before the sun, leaving fertile ground ready for the impression of truth. Think of the subconscious as a mighty yet obedient servant. Throughout the day, it works quietly in the background, taking every word you speak, every thought you think, and building out the patterns of your life in exact accordance with what you have impressed upon it. But when you sleep, this servant does not rest. It continues its work unceasingly, organizing circumstances, summoning ideas, and aligning you with people and opportunities that match what you have planted in its soil. And here lies the power. When you deliberately speak divine truth just before surrendering to sleep, you give this servant clear, powerful instructions that it must carry out in your waking reality. Florence's timeless affirmation, "Infinite Spirit opens the way for my immediate supply," is not merely a phrase to repeat. It is a spiritual command issued to both your subconscious and the infinite intelligence of the universe. When spoken with unwavering faith at night, it bypasses every doubt and fear that plagued you during the day and sinks directly into the creative depths of your being. Like a seed planted in the rich earth, it begins to germinate unseen, drawing nourishment from divine substance itself. By the time dawn breaks, that seed has already sprouted and will soon pierce through into visible manifestation. This is why you must be vigilant about the final words you allow yourself to think and speak before sleep. Too many close their eyes, muttering words of defeat. "I don't know how I'll make it," or "Nothing ever works out for me." These words are not harmless. They are commands given to the subconscious, which faithfully fulfills them in your experience. But tonight, that cycle ends. Tonight, your last waking words will not be laced with fear or worry. They will be the authoritative, faith-filled words of spirit that call forth abundance, peace, and joy. Imagine yourself lying in your bed, the room dim and quiet. A golden light descends, filling the space with warmth and safety. Every muscle relaxes as heavenly peace surrounds you. You feel your conscious mind softening, releasing its tight grip on control. And in that holy moment, your voice, strong, assured, filled with divine authority, speaks forth the truth. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly and easily, under grace, in perfect ways. Infinite Spirit goes before me now, making my way smooth and prosperous. I rest in divine abundance, knowing that all I need is here and now. As these words flow from your lips or rise within your silent thought, they are not drifting aimlessly into the night air. They are vibrant, living forces, radiating out into the universe and simultaneously sinking deep into your subconscious mind. Spirit hears them, heaven records them, and the law of creation is set irrevocably into motion. In that instant, unseen streams of supply begin to move toward you. Barriers are dissolved, new paths open, favor is released, and you do nothing but rest, allowing the infinite wisdom of the divine to work out every detail in perfection. Even while you sleep, the word you have spoken continues to reverberate through the unseen, activating laws more powerful than any earthly force. It calls to opportunities that seemed distant and draws them near. It stirs the hearts of people who hold keys to your blessing and guides them irresistibly toward you. It reorganizes circumstances with divine precision, removing obstacles you once thought insurmountable. You awaken not to the same world you left behind, but to one reshaped by the authority of your spoken word and the tireless, loving labor of your subconscious servant aligned with spirit. Tonight, you will master this sacred practice. You will speak not as one hoping to be heard, but as one knowing that heaven and earth must respond. You will plant seeds of divine truth in the rich, dark soil of night, and those seeds will not fail to bear fruit. For it is written, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." This is not promise alone, it is law, and law cannot be broken. Let me draw back the curtain of the ordinary and show you what happens when this law is fully embraced, for there is no greater testimony than the living witness of divine demonstration. Imagine a woman, weary from years of financial struggle, her nights filled with worry and her days burdened with relentless toil. Each evening she collapsed into bed, heart heavy, mind swirling with fear of unpaid bills and the gnawing dread of never escaping lack. She believed that only more labor, more human effort could save her, and yet the harder she pushed, the deeper she sank into despair. But then, one blessed day, she encountered the teachings of divine law as spoken by Florence Scovel Shinn. She read that words are not idle sounds, but spiritual commands, and that night, before sleep claimed her, she tried something different. With trembling lips but a flicker of faith, she declared, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. I rest now in perfect peace, knowing that all that is mine is rushing to me with joy and ease." She repeated these words until they felt alive within her, and then she surrendered to sleep. She did not know it at the time, but in that moment, the entire unseen universe stirred in response. While she slept, divine channels opened. Subconscious beliefs of unworthiness and fear began to dissolve like mist under a rising sun. Unknown to her conscious mind, the tireless power of spirit was moving through people and circumstances, setting up divine appointments, redirecting opportunities, and aligning every detail to bring her supply swiftly and perfectly. By dawn, though she could not yet see it with her eyes, the harvest had already begun. Days later, an unexpected message arrived. A forgotten investment suddenly matured beyond her wildest imagination. A friend she had not spoken to in years appeared with a business proposition that perfectly matched her talents. Within a week, financial doors that had been bolted shut for decades swung wide open. She was astonished, not because the principle failed to work before, but because she had never spoken the word with such faith and authority. From that night forward, she made it her sacred practice to declare truth before sleep, and never again did she experience the terror of lack. Her life transformed into one of perpetual overflow, for she finally understood that spirit never slumbers and that the subconscious, when given divine instruction, creates miracles as naturally as flowers bloom in spring. This is the power you hold in your own tongue, beloved soul. As Florence said, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. That woman dared to see and to speak of divine supply even when her eyes saw only emptiness. She knocked on the gates of heaven with the sound of faith, and heaven opened instantly. This is not her story alone. It is your story waiting to be lived. When you align your nightly words with divine law, you become a co-creator with infinite intelligence. No longer are you a wanderer tossed about by circumstance. You become a master of conditions. Your subconscious, once filled with fear and cluttered images of failure, is purified and directed by the commanding word of spirit. While you sleep, it labors tirelessly, drawing into your orbit every good thing that belongs to you: prosperity, opportunities, divine relationships, radiant health, and perfect self-expression. By morning, you awaken to a world subtly transformed, and as days pass, that transformation bursts forth openly until your life becomes a living testimony of God's abundance. Do not underestimate this power. One night of speaking truth in faith can do what decades of human effort could not. One divine word planted before sleep can shatter chains of limitation forged over a lifetime. As it is written, "While men slept, the seed sprang and grew up, he knoweth not how." The mechanics of spirit are not for human minds to unravel. They are for you to trust. And trust you must, because faith is the key that unlocks results beyond your understanding. Now, as you hear this testimony, let it imprint itself upon your heart. Know that your own overnight miracle is not only possible but inevitable when you speak with divine certainty. Tonight, as you lay your head upon your pillow, you will not enter sleep as one defeated. You will enter it as a royal heir, issuing decrees to the invisible forces that govern creation. And by morning, you will begin to see the unmistakable signs of divine orchestration. A letter of favor, a sudden opportunity, a gift you did not expect, or perhaps simply a newfound peace that tells you, the word has been spoken, and heaven has already answered. Now we come to the sacred practice of guided spoken declarations, for it is not enough to know of spiritual law. One must speak it boldly, rhythmically, and with unwavering faith. Florence Scovel Shinn declared that man's word is his wand, and when wielded with conviction, it sweeps away mountains of fear and summons miracles from unseen realms. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, I will lead you in these declarations so that every syllable penetrates the subconscious mind like radiant arrows of light, rewriting the scripts of lack and ushering in divine overflow. Begin by stilling your body, feeling each muscle release its tension. Let your breath become slow and deep, as though infinite spirit is breathing through you. Now, with your inner voice, or aloud if you dare, repeat after me, not as idle affirmations but as spiritual commands etched into eternal law. God is my unfailing supply. I am now linked with infinite spirit, and all channels of abundance are free. Large sums of money, rich blessings, and divine opportunities flow to me now, quickly and perfectly, under grace, in magical ways. Feel the weight of those words. Imagine them as golden streams entering the soil of your subconscious, each word alive with power, each phrase a key unlocking storehouses of provision. Speak it again, stronger, as if commanding the universe itself. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. Every door meant for me flies open now. Every treasure marked with my name rushes into my life. I live in a sea of prosperity, health, and joy, and nothing can hold back my good. As these words flow, see their images forming vividly within, doors flinging open effortlessly, golden light pouring into your home, debts dissolving into nothingness, and radiant opportunities cascading toward you like waves upon a shore. Speak it once more, with the authority of a royal decree. Infinite Spirit goes before me now, clearing my path of every obstacle. My cup runneth over with divine supply. I receive lavish gifts, overflowing money, and heavenly favor. All that is mine by divine inheritance comes to me now, swiftly, joyously, and harmoniously. Pause and let these words saturate your being. The subconscious mind, ever obedient and without resistance in this moment of quiet faith, has now been imprinted with divine truth. It will labor tirelessly as you sleep, reshaping circumstances, drawing forth miracles, and reorganizing every condition to reflect the law you have just spoken. Finally, speak with gentle assurance, as one already standing in the promised land of divine overflow. I give thanks that it is done. I rest in perfect faith, knowing that God's infinite supply has answered my word. I sleep in peace, and I awaken to miracles. Feel peace now wrapping you like a warm, luminous cloak. Know that these declarations are not mere sounds. They are living forces that heaven has already received and set into motion. As you drift into the holy silence of sleep, trust completely. The spiritual seed is planted, and its harvest cannot fail. Now we go deeper into the night's holy silence and speak words that do not simply affirm, but command. For you are not a beggar at heaven's gate, but a beloved heir to the kingdom of overflow. These next declarations will carry you beyond ordinary manifestations into miracles that defy reasoning and burst every boundary the human mind has ever set. Speak them as if standing in the very throne room of the infinite, knowing that unseen forces rise to obey the truth you declare. Close your eyes and imagine standing on a high mountain bathed in golden light. The entire universe stretches out before you, every star a beacon of God's infinite supply. Feel power coursing through your body, a gentle yet unstoppable force flowing from the source of all creation. Now, with slow, deliberate breath, release these words into the spiritual ethers. I rest tonight in the boundless abundance of infinite spirit. The same God who commands the stars and holds the seas in place commands my perfect supply. I am fearless and free. The floodgates of heaven are open, and rivers of money, love, health, and opportunity surge toward me now. Visualize those rivers rushing closer, breaking through old dams of fear and resistance. Hear the roar of supply cascading over every wall that ever held you back. With stronger voice, speak again. I am a child of the Almighty. Nothing can oppose my divine inheritance. Wealth, joy, success, and peace flow to me now in endless streams. I am surrounded by divine favor. Every step I take is on holy ground, and everything I touch prospers. Feel those words filling your subconscious with radiant certainty. See yourself waking in the morning to find your world transformed. Unexpected checks arriving without effort, lost opportunities returning multiplied, new channels opening in miraculous ways. Speak it once more with unshakable authority. Infinite Spirit, I release every burden and every shadow of lack. I am lifted into divine overflow where miracles are natural and continuous. My life is a testimony of God's lavish abundance. I am at peace. I am secure. I am one with limitless supply. Pause now and imagine your home bathed in shimmering light as angels of provision move quietly through every room, placing gifts of wealth and favor where they belong. See your bank account swelling, your debts dissolving, your body radiating health, and your relationships flourishing with harmony and joy. Know this is not a dream or wishful thinking, but the law of spirit responding to your spoken word. Finally, seal these declarations with gratitude, the highest act of faith. I give thanks that all channels are now free. Divine supply knows no delay, no hindrance, no obstruction. This night, I rest in perfect peace as heaven completes every detail of my blessing. I awaken renewed, restored, and overflowing with good. As these words echo into eternity, trust that they have already been fulfilled. The subconscious, faithful servant of spirit now works unceasingly as you sleep, calling forth a dawn that brings proof of everything you have spoken. You need not strive or push or wonder. Your word has gone forth, and by divine law, it cannot return void. Rest now as a creator in harmony with infinite intelligence, knowing your miracle is already at hand. Now we enter the moment of overnight faith activation, a sacred practice that takes all you have declared and seals it in the eternal vault of spirit, where no doubt or fear can tamper with its power. This is more than simply affirming words. It is a full surrender into the current of divine law, a conscious release of every human burden into the hands of infinite intelligence, trusting that while you sleep, heaven itself will labor on your behalf. Close your eyes and see yourself in a room filled with dazzling golden light. The air is alive with peace, still and holy, as if angels stand guard around you. You feel the tension of years of struggle begin to melt from your shoulders, draining away into nothingness. You sense the unseen chains of worry falling with a quiet clink to the floor. In this luminous space, there is no fear, no striving, no lack, only perfect harmony and effortless abundance. Breathe deeply and imagine this light expanding within you, filling every cell of your body, cleansing every thought of limitation, and transforming your entire being into a vessel of divine overflow. As you rest in this light, hear a voice, not from outside but from the eternal spirit within you, whispering, "Beloved, you are safe now. The work is finished. While you sleep, I perfect every detail of your life. The channels of abundance are open, and nothing can close them. Release every burden you have carried, every unpaid bill, every lingering debt, every feeling of unworthiness, every anxious thought about tomorrow. One by one, lay them down before the throne of infinite love. Say quietly within, I cast every burden on the Christ within, and I go free. Spirit has already provided for me richly and completely. See those burdens vanish like smoke, leaving only radiant clarity. Now let your faith rise like a mighty tide. Understand that faith is not struggle, it is effortless trust in the divine process. The seed of your declaration has already been planted. Now your only task is to rest and allow Spirit to water it through the night. As Jesus taught, so is the kingdom of God, as if a man should cast seed into the ground, and should sleep and rise night and day, and the seed should spring and grow up, he knoweth not how. This is the mystery of faith. You need not know how your blessing comes. You need only know that it is coming, that it is already accomplished in the unseen. Visualize yourself lying peacefully in bed, every muscle relaxed, your breath steady and calm. See heavenly light streaming gently over you like a warm, protective blanket. Around you, unseen hands are arranging divine appointments, preparing miracles, dissolving obstacles, and unlocking doors you thought forever closed. You are not alone. Spirit is orchestrating wonders beyond your imagination while you rest. With each slow breath, affirm quietly, "While I sleep, Spirit moves for me." My subconscious mind works in perfect harmony with infinite intelligence to manifest abundance, peace, and joy. I awaken to a new dawn filled with divine overflow. Feel the truth of these words sinking deep into your subconscious, imprinting themselves with eternal power. Finally, surrender completely. Let go of every trace of control, every lingering worry, and allow divine faith to lift you into perfect stillness. You are safe. You are loved. You are carried by forces stronger than any earthly limitation. Tonight, you sleep in the arms of divine abundance, and when morning comes, you will awaken renewed, restored, and radiant with the evidence of heaven's handiwork. Now we reach the sacred climax of this night's journey, the moment of the covenant word before sleep, the most potent and unshakable declaration you will ever speak in the silence of your own soul. A covenant is not a wish, it is a binding, eternal agreement between you and infinite spirit, sealed in faith and irrevocable by any earthly condition. Tonight, you will step into that holy covenant and claim your inheritance of divine overflow once and for all. Picture yourself standing beneath a vast night sky, stars blazing like a million golden lamps in the heavens. There is no sound but the quiet hum of spirit moving in every direction, surrounding you with unseen power. You feel the stillness of eternity pressing gently upon you, and in that stillness, a profound truth rises within. You have never been alone, never been without, never been separate from your good. From the very beginning, before a single worry clouded your mind, infinite spirit promised to provide, to guide, to bless, and to prosper you. That promise was never withdrawn, never weakened, never delayed. Tonight, you step fully into its fulfillment. You lift your head and speak, not as a timid seeker, but as a beloved child of the Most High, clothed in spiritual authority. Infinite Spirit, I enter covenant with you this night. I declare that I am one with divine abundance. I am one with overflowing wealth, health, joy, and perfect self-expression. By divine law, all that is mine by eternal right is released to me now. I receive lavish blessings in every area of my life, under grace, in miraculous ways. This covenant is sealed and cannot be broken. From this moment forward, I live in unending divine overflow. Pause and feel those words reverberate through the unseen realms. Heaven hears and responds immediately, for spirit is bound by divine law to honor every word spoken in faith. See radiant beams of light descending from the stars, weaving themselves around you like a robe of heavenly fire. You sense angels moving swiftly, carrying messages of your declaration to every corner of the universe, activating channels of supply, orchestrating perfect opportunities, arranging divine connections, and opening doors you never dreamed could open. Now affirm again, with even greater power. This night, infinite spirit fills my life with overflowing good. Every area of my existence is saturated with divine supply. Wealth pours into my hands, health radiates through my body, joy sings in my heart, and peace crowns my mind. I am a living testament to the riches of heaven, and no force can hinder or delay my blessing. I am eternally provided for, eternally safe, eternally prosperous. As you speak, imagine a great seal of light descending from above, stamping your covenant with divine authority. It cannot be revoked or diminished. Spiritual law has heard and answered, and tonight, as you sleep, that covenant will be fulfilled in ways that will astound you. You will awaken not as one hoping for miracles, but as one standing firmly in them. To complete this holy moment, lift your inner gaze to the infinite and whisper with unwavering certainty, "Thank you, infinite Spirit, that it is done. My covenant of overflow is sealed for eternity. I rest now in perfect faith, knowing that I awaken to a life transformed by divine abundance." Now feel a wave of peace flowing through you, deeper than any rest you have ever known. Your subconscious has been imprinted with eternal truth. The covenant has been spoken, sealed, and made law. From this night onward, you are no longer a seeker. You are a possessor of divine overflow, walking in the light of heaven's unbroken promise. Sleep now, beloved soul, for your miracle has already begun. As we journey deeper into this night of transformation, let us fill our hearts with faith stories and metaphors of overflow. For testimony is not just recollection, it is living proof that the same Spirit moving for others moves also for you. These are not tales of luck or chance. They are demonstrations of immutable spiritual law, eternal reminders that what God has done for one, He can and will do for all and more. Imagine a man once drowning in debt, burdened by fear so heavy he could hardly breathe. His nights were sleepless, haunted by visions of collectors at the door and a future strangled by hopelessness. One evening he came across a simple statement from Florence Scovel Shinn, "God is my supply and I cannot be denied." Something inside him shifted. That night, before closing his eyes, he spoke those words again and again, not with desperation, but with quiet certainty, as though each syllable carried the weight of heaven itself. By morning, an unexpected opportunity had arisen. An old client returned with a major contract, and within weeks, debts that seemed immovable dissolved entirely. The man stood astonished, not because divine law worked suddenly, but because it had been waiting all along for his word of release. Picture a woman who longed for a home of beauty and peace, a sanctuary for her children, but every attempt to save and plan was swallowed by life's unending demands. Night after night, she wept in exhaustion, believing comfort and security were for others, but never for her. One day, a friend gave her a single affirmation: "I have a magical work in a magical way. I give magical service for magical pay." That night, with trembling faith, she whispered it until sleep overtook her. Days later, she received a call from a benefactor she had helped years ago, offering her an opportunity far beyond her expectations. Within months, she held the keys to a home that mirrored her secret dreams in every detail, a gift of grace, orchestrated perfectly without strain or struggle. Now envision a struggling artist whose hands longed to create but whose wallet was forever empty. She lived in a tiny apartment, walls bare and light dim, believing that true abundance belonged to those born under brighter stars. But one evening, as she read from the game of life and how to play it, a revelation struck her heart. Every man has a land of his own. Every man has a perfect place in life. That night, she spoke into the silence. "I now claim my perfect place, my perfect expression, my perfect supply." The words sank deep into her subconscious, planting seeds unseen. Within weeks, a renowned gallery stumbled upon her work, offering her a contract that not only lifted her from poverty, but crowned her as a celebrated artist. These stories are not rare miracles reserved for a chosen few. They are demonstrations of divine law in action. They reveal that Spirit's supply flows like a river, unceasing and abundant. Yet it waits at the banks of human thought for the gate of faith to open. When one speaks the word in alignment with divine truth, the river surges forth, sweeping away obstacles, carrying blessings into every dry valley of life. Think of it as a hidden pipeline running beneath the surface of your world, pressurized with infinite good. For years you may have felt parched and forgotten, believing the source had run dry. But the truth is, the valve was never turned. The word was never spoken to release the flow. One declaration of faith, one unshakable covenant with Spirit, opens that valve fully, and suddenly what was once a trickle becomes a rushing, unstoppable torrent of divine provision. So tonight, let every testimony be a mirror reflecting your own destiny. See yourself in the man freed from debt, the mother gifted a home, the artist discovering her perfect place. Know without question, the same spiritual law that moved for them now moves for you. The unseen pipeline of heaven is bursting open even now, and by morning, signs of this outpouring will begin to surface. Speak it with me in the stillness of your heart. What God has done for others, He now does for me, and more. My life is overflowing with miracles, and nothing can stop my divine supply. Rest in this knowing. Let it imprint upon your subconscious as these words flow. Your story of overflow has already begun, and soon the world will witness the undeniable evidence of divine abundance made visible through you. And now, as night prepares to give way to dawn, let us turn our gaze forward and speak of the holy transition into morning manifestation. For what is planted in the silence of night must rise into form with the light of day. The subconscious mind, having received the word in stillness, now births it into the visible world, and your part is to greet the new day not with hesitation or fear, but with absolute certainty that the invisible has become visible, that what was spoken in faith has already taken root and now bears fruit. Morning is not merely the turning of the clock, it is a spiritual resurrection, a signal that heaven has finished its work in the dark and now hands you the harvest of your faith. As your eyes flutter open and your body stirs from sacred sleep, pause. Do not leap into action. Do not check your phone. Do not rush into the noise of the world. Instead, let your first breath be deep and deliberate. Let your first thought be of spirit. Let your first words be a continuation of the covenant you sealed only hours ago. Whisper aloud, even if barely audible, "Thank you, Infinite Spirit, that this day is rich with my divine good. I walk in favor. I walk in overflow. I walk in miracles." This is not ritual for its own sake. It is instruction to the subconscious, a renewal of the divine program impressed upon it the night before. It is spiritual alignment before momentum begins. It tells the creative forces within you and around you, yes, continue. Yes, bring it forth. Yes, I receive what has already been given. Then, as you rise from bed, do so with sacred intention. Picture your feet touching the floor, not as routine, but as claiming holy ground. Every step you take is ordered by infinite wisdom. Every breath is charged with the substance of manifestation. The people you encounter, the messages you receive, the invitations and opportunities that greet you, they are all woven into the tapestry of your demonstration. Be watchful, not in anxious suspicion, but in joyful expectation. You may see it come as a phone call out of nowhere, a meeting that changes everything, a message long delayed that finally arrives. Or it may come more subtly, a moment of peace where panic once ruled, a new idea planted gently in your mind, a sense that something has already shifted. These are the glimmers of your word taking form. As Florence Scovel Shinn said, the subconscious mind has no sense of humor and takes every word you speak as law. Therefore, what you declared last night is not a hope, it is a law, and law always produces after its kind. If you feel old fears trying to rise, fear of bills, fear of disappointment, fear that nothing has changed, meet them not with resistance, but with spiritual authority. Say aloud, "This fear is a lie. My demonstration is already complete. I walk by faith, not by appearance." And just like that, you recenter yourself in truth. And now, throughout this day, let every act become part of the overflow. As you wash your face, imagine washing away the residue of all former limitations. As you eat, give thanks that your table is set by Spirit itself. As you move through your work, declare, I do my perfect work in a perfect way, and I am richly rewarded. If you speak to another, know that Spirit may be using your words as a blessing to unlock something in them, and in turn, bring something back to you. Live as if the miracle has already occurred, because it has. Spirit does not plant seeds without intent to bring them into harvest. The moment the word was spoken last night, the wheels of heaven began to turn, and your part now is to remain in faithful agreement until the manifestation bursts fully into view. At every hour, let gratitude rise. When you feel the sun on your skin, say, This is the warmth of my blessing made visible. When you hear a kind word, say, This is the vibration of favor flowing to me. When you complete a task, say, This is the evidence of my divine order unfolding perfectly. Every act, every moment becomes an affirmation, and your entire day becomes the stage upon which your overflow makes its grand and unstoppable entrance. By evening, you will look back and smile, not because everything is done, but because you now see the divine fingerprints on everything. And as night comes again, you will return to your sacred practice, not as one trying to believe, but as one who knows. You will declare the word again, not to force something into being, but to continue dancing in rhythm with the law that never sleeps, never forgets, never fails. Now, beloved soul, we reach the final empowerment and call to action, the resounding crescendo of this divine symphony, where every truth spoken and every covenant sealed rises together into a triumphant declaration that cannot be silenced or overturned. It is here that you step fully into your inheritance, not merely as a seeker of miracles, but as a living vessel of divine overflow, walking upon this earth with spiritual authority that commands mountains to move and seas to part. This is not a gentle suggestion of possibility. It is a holy proclamation of certainty, for the law of spirit cannot fail, and you, standing in alignment with that law, cannot be denied. Pause and feel the weight of this moment. Heaven leans close, angels pause in their flight, and the infinite power of God listens intently as you prepare to affirm your destiny. Every seed planted in the night watches for your faith to call it forth into visible expression. The silent work of your subconscious, the invisible orchestration of infinite intelligence, and the immutable promise of divine law are all converging here and now, waiting for you to take your rightful place as co-creator of your overflowing life. You speak now not as one uncertain of the outcome, but as one who has witnessed the rising sun after a long night of shadow, as one who has felt the breath of spirit whispering promises into the deepest part of the soul. You speak as heir to a kingdom that cannot diminish, as steward of an inheritance that no earthly power can corrupt or steal. With unwavering voice declare, I live in divine overflow now. This is not a distant hope or future dream. It is my present reality. Infinite Spirit has answered my word. Supply is loosed. Blessings are released. I am walking this moment in the fullness of God's abundance. Feel your heart ignite as you repeat these words. Imagine them as living fire moving through every cell of your body, burning away the remnants of doubt and fear, leaving only radiant faith and unstoppable confidence. With each breath, the old image of struggle fades further into the past, and a new image emerges, one of strength, victory, and divine prosperity. See yourself stepping into rooms where favor meets you like a dear friend. Hear the sound of unexpected blessings arriving without strain or delay. Feel the atmosphere of your life charged with divine energy, transforming every challenge into a stepping stone toward greater abundance. Now, as the spiritual tide rises within you, call yourself into holy action. Speak. I will not merely hear these truths, I will live them. I will speak words of power each night and each morning, planting seeds of faith that the law of spirit will never fail to harvest. I will walk with poise, with courage, and with expectancy, knowing that every step is guided by infinite wisdom. I will give generously, forgive swiftly, and act boldly, for I am a vessel through which divine overflow blesses the world. This is not a vow made in human strength, it is a declaration carried on the wings of spirit itself. You are no longer the same soul who began this journey. The chains of limitation have fallen. The veil of lack has been torn. The night has passed, and dawn has broken. What was once unseen is now manifesting. What was once delayed is now rushing to meet you. The river of divine supply flows unblocked and unending, sweeping through every corner of your existence with unstoppable grace. Stand tall in your spirit and let your voice resound into eternity. I am free. I am abundant. I am fulfilled. I am aligned with the everlasting law of divine provision. From this moment forth, I live not in want or worry, but in the ceaseless overflow of heaven's riches. And so it is. Let the heavens echo this truth back to you, confirming with holy certainty that nothing can undo what has been declared this night. As you go forth, every day will bear witness to your transformation, and every soul you meet will feel the radiant energy of one who walks in divine dominion. This is your call to action, not to strive, but to declare, not to labor, but to trust, not to beg, but to command with the authority bestowed upon you as a child of infinite spirit. You have spoken the word, and now you step boldly into a life where miracles are not occasional visitors, but constant companions, where divine overflow is not a dream, but a daily reality. And now, beloved soul, as we bring this holy journey to its completion, we enter the sanctuary of the closing spoken word prayer, a mighty seal upon all that has been declared, a spiritual decree that reverberates through unseen realms and ensures that no word spoken tonight shall return void. This prayer is not supplication, it is thanksgiving and command, a harmonious blending of praise and power, resting in the absolute certainty that the work is already done. As Florence Scovel Shinn declared, man's word is his wand, and with it he builds or destroys. Tonight you have built with words of divine truth, and in this prayer we cement those words into the unshakable foundation of spirit. Close your eyes and lift your inner gaze to the throne of infinite love and intelligence. Feel yourself surrounded by celestial light, a brilliance so vast and gentle that every shadow of doubt is instantly dissolved. Angels of provision encircle you, singing softly of victories already won, and the Christ within you rises to full stature, clothed in garments of majesty and dominion. In this holy atmosphere, speak silently or aloud with me. Infinite Spirit, Father, Mother, God, source of all life and supply, I lift my voice in eternal gratitude. I give thanks that every word spoken this night has found perfect soil in my subconscious and is now bearing fruit in divine abundance. I thank you that every burden has been cast upon the Christ within, and I now walk free, fearless, and fully provided for. I thank you that rivers of wealth, streams of health, and oceans of joy surge toward me now and forever, under grace and in miraculous ways. I speak the word of command. All channels of my good are now open. Every door meant for me flies wide. Every opportunity divinely ordained is drawn irresistibly into my path. Infinite wisdom guides every step I take, and I am upheld by your mighty hand. No power can oppose me, no obstacle can stand, for I am one with the law of spirit, and spirit is boundless supply. I decree divine order now establishes itself in my life and affairs. Every debt is dissolved. Every need is met. Every desire in harmony with divine law is instantly fulfilled. I live, move, and breathe in the overflowing wealth of heaven. My cup runs over with blessing upon blessing, and as I receive, I give generously, knowing that giving and receiving are one eternal flow. I proclaim that fear has no place in me, doubt cannot touch me, The past has no power to bind me. The future holds no threat to me. I am anchored in the eternal now where infinite spirit provides all, sustains all, and fulfills all. I awaken each morning renewed, radiant, and rejoicing in daily miracles that bear witness to your unfailing love. I bless every soul who hears this word tonight. I speak divine overflow into their homes, their finances, their bodies, and their destinies. Let every listener rise in spiritual dominion, casting off every shadow of lack, stepping boldly into a life of prosperity, peace, and perfect self-expression. May they know, as I now know, that heaven's riches are endless and fully available here and now. And so, Infinite Spirit, with a heart overflowing in gratitude and joy, I rest this night knowing it is finished. The demonstration is complete. The miracle is manifest. The covenant is sealed forevermore, and I, as your beloved child, walk henceforth in unending divine overflow. Amen, amen, and amen. As you let these words echo through the chambers of your being, feel a great silence descend, not of emptiness, but of perfect fulfillment. The subconscious mind is now a luminous field, planted with seeds of eternal truth, and Spirit itself hovers over this field like a tender gardener, nurturing every seed until it blossoms in ways far greater than you could ever imagine. You are free, you are supplied, you are blessed beyond measure. Now, let go of every final trace of concern and enter rest as a sovereign creator united with infinite intelligence. Sleep in peace, beloved soul, for tonight you have spoken the word that moves heaven and earth. And when you awaken, you will step into a dawn radiant with proof that divine overflow is not merely promised, it is yours, here and now, forevermore.